Testing. Do you want to say something?
Quizzing. Sorry.
I love that so much. That was so dorky.
I know. Sorry.
Oh, that's my favorite. Testing. Quizzing. I'm all done. That's all I needed right there. That was.
You don't need anything
that
else.
was all
The show's over. It was a real showstopper.
Oh man, if you are listening to the beautiful piano notes on top of some bopping acoustic guitar rhythms, because I'm going to use bopping every week now, that can only mean one thing.
It's time for another episode of the Mannschrecks, a commentary on Christian life and culture from a pastor's wife and her sidekick.
And that's me.
I am your best host, Sarah Mannschreck.
And I'm that other one, JJ Mannschreck. All right, I am so excited that we are here. So this is episode 4, and I feel like this is the first episode we're recording like after the show has been out, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because we've done. We recorded 2 and then we posted them. We got some feedback, but we had already like made the next episode before we really started getting feedback. And so I, for one, am still sort of in shock that anybody is listening to this at all.
That's true. Me too, actually.
It's been really awesome. People have been reaching out, but I did have somebody reach out, or they asked me, they're like, so wait, what's the point of your podcast? And I was like, well, wait, hold on. No.
There is no point.
Yeah.
Dull.
This is the place where we come to get away from the things that have a point, right? Like, there's so much, like we say Christian commentary, and we do talk about like some of the important things. Like last week we were talking about Hillsong and all that, but for the most part, at least the way I understand it, our goal here is like, have some fun and tell some stories and laugh a lot. And like, this is just, I think this should be like, it's just a break, take a break, have your coffee or, whatever, while you're doing chores or whatever, just pop in and we'll tell you some funny stories and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is not a place that has a point. And so, yeah, I've been just overwhelmed with some of the positive feedback. People have been reaching out and just loving on the show and saying things that they appreciate about it. And it really touches my heart. That means a lot to me.
It's fun to hear that people are listening and enjoying, and, we have fun. So we hope you have fun.
Well, and it's like some of it's people we haven't heard from in a long time, and it's like, oh yeah, it's so good to hear from you, and yeah, it's been really cool. But I thought what we could do to start out, this is a new segment before we get to the news stories. I just want to pump up some other podcasts that are out there, because when it comes to the world of like Christian commentary and stuff, I view our little thing, the Mannschreck podcast, as just like goofy fun. But there are some really brilliant podcasts out there that deal with commentary, from a more like serious note, and they still have a lot of fun, but they, there's some really good positive Christian commentary out there. And so I thought maybe if you want to talk about your favorite, I've got one that I'd love to talk about. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of stumbled upon this one by accident, actually. I kind of was scrolling social media one day and somebody posted something, and it led me to the Instagram site of a woman by the name of Felicia Masonheimer, and
nice.
I was kind of going through her stuff, and she had some really practical applications for reading the Bible, and then she posted some things about her kids, and then I went to her website and found that she has 2 different podcasts that she's a part of. One is her personal podcast called Verity, which I've been listening to, but the one that really kind of struck my interest was another podcast that she does with another individual. I believe his name is Ryan Coatney, and
nice.
The podcast is called Raising Cross-Formed Kids, and It was really right in, a topic that I'm very interested in, because obviously we do Sunday school with our kids, and we, we read to them, we read the Bible, and we talk about a lot of stories and stuff, and we are really, trying to guide them as, best we can. But I was interested in some of the topics that they had brought up in their show, so I've been really into that. that podcast, I found it on Spotify, but it's available on other platforms as well. But
Yeah.
it's
What's it called again?
Raising Cross-Form Kids. And it's just really practical.
That's awesome.
They're fairly short episodes too. I'd say anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Just
wow,
really,
that's nice.
really good. I found them to be very helpful for me. I go on a walk in the morning, and 20 minutes, I'm able to listen to a podcast and just have some really practical and helpful information for a variety of topics as far as raising your kids up in Christian faith and what that looks like in the home.
I know that you've shared with me some of the like insights, and I gotta say, like, you don't get easily excited about something, and like I remember the other day you were listening to something and you were so pumped up about what they said. You came rushing into the room and you were like, I have to tell you this, and I don't even remember what it was. I remember it was really brilliant, but I was just like. That, like, we had, like, switched roles, because usually I'm the one that's like, rushing in the room, like, I gotta tell you about this thing.
I know, that's true. It was really good, but yeah, it's definitely just really practical. Like, it makes sense. It's easy to digest information, and yeah, I have found it to be
awesome.
very, very useful and applicable.
That is one thing I love about like just the modern world. Like it's tough to be a Christian out there. There's so many distractions and voices, competing voices that are things that are not what God is calling us to be. But there, at the same time, there have never been so many phenomenal resources out there for Christians.
And they're so accessible and they're free.
Yeah, and like if you want to go and learn and grow closer to Jesus, you can. There's so much stuff out there. So yeah, the one I want to talk about, I want to lift up, this is what got me into podcasting, was a podcast called The Holy Post. It's super well known. There's this guy, Phil Vischer. And if you're not sure who that is, he is the voice of Bob the Tomato from VeggieTales. He's one of the creators, co-creator with a buddy, but they created VeggieTales, and he was one of the big creative minds behind that whole world. And he has gone on to do just so many things. He has his own brand now. He has a platform, like a streaming service called Mr. Phil TV. But he runs this podcast called The Holy Post, and his co-host is a guy by the name of Sky Jitani, who used to be a pastor, and then he worked at Christianity Today for a while, and now he's an author and a bunch of other stuff. He does speaking and whatnot, and he's brilliant. Sky Jitani, I mean, if there was an heir apparent to like Tim Keller, I think it would be Sky Jitani. He very much impresses me with his insight. He's really, really intelligent. And he also runs a daily devotional that I really like called With God Daily. It's an app that you can download, and I'm really enjoying it. It's so solid. But the Holy Post is basically, and they do have, there's a rotation of other co-hosts. There's Christian Taylor and Caitlin Schiss, who come on the show in a rotation because they're both really busy, so they're not always on the show. But so anyways, Phil Vischer and Sky Jitani, and they do this thing. Basically, the first half of the show is commentary on Christian culture and goofy stories and fun moments, lots of laughter. And then the second half, it's an hour-long podcast. The first half is goofing off and some serious commentary. And then the second half is usually an interview with like an author who's written a really good book. And there's been a bunch of book recommendations, books that I've picked up because I've listened to those author interviews, and they're brilliant. I mean, they're just all great books. So anyways, the Holy Post podcast, I used to like look down on podcasts. Like I would laugh at them and be like, podcasts are silly. They're just like mini audiobooks. Like, why would you want to listen to a podcast? And I had some friends who were like, you're being judgmental. Just give it a try and try the Holy Post. And I had tried some other podcasts and I was like, these are lame. Holy Post is what got me into podcasting, and I was like, oh, maybe podcasts are cool. And now I have two.
Well, and I never really, admittedly, I never really thought I had time for podcasts because I'm not one to spend time, like want to spend time on my phone in front of the kids. Like, not that it's bad, and not that the content that I'm listening to on these podcasts isn't in any way inappropriate. It's just I don't often like to be on my phone in large quantities when I'm with the kids because I really want my focus to be on them. And I want them to see that if I'm in the room, I'm not always on my phone, because I feel that that's not a narrative that kids are used to these days. I feel like if a parent's in the room with them, parents are always on the phone.
Even I struggle with that. I mean,
right, and it's very hard. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying it's very difficult because that's just our reality. Is we're always on our phones. And so I always, used to scoff at, I don't have time to, watch a YouTube video. Why am I going to sit and listen to a podcast? And truthfully, I'm not listening to my podcast when I'm with the boys all the time. We do school, or if I'm doing, dishes or something, I'll listen to the podcast. But usually I, try to find, that 15, 20 minutes where I can listen to one. And I found that there are ways to work it into the day. It's just, I never really saw them as essential before because I didn't really know where I would fit them into my day. So.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's so many other ones that I could talk. I tried to only pick one to pump up because after Holy Post, I have found like 5 or 6 other really great podcasts for Christian content. And so, our podcast is just this goofy thing. We're having a good time. We're taking a break. It's the place where you come to get away from all the things that have a point. I think that I'm putting that on a t-shirt right there. And it just, it's but I do appreciate the commentary that's out there. They do such a good job. And the one thing I really like about the Holy Post is they very much engage with the modern topics that are coming out. So recently, like the Roe v. Wade thing was huge in the news, and they spent a whole episode just talking about that. They were like, this is a really important issue, and so we're going to carefully go into it. And they did. And I learned a lot. I mean, they did a deep dive, and it's such a healthy and balanced and educated perspective. Plus, Phil Vischer, he's really goofy, and he makes up songs and does voices, and he keeps it lighthearted, and I like that. I need some humor. That helps me.
I get it.
Yeah, so all right, so those are some awesome podcasts. You should all go listen to those things. Okay, so let's get. Are you ready for some news stories?
I am so ready.
So ready. All right, you're not ready for this one. This is crazy.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this story. Before I dive into it, I got to talk about proposals. Okay, so
like marriage proposals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I would like you to marry me, and I'm going to ask you that question, and hopefully I have a ring in my pocket. And I think about proposals, and I think, is there a place? So when I think of a proposal, a lot of times the person kind of knows the answer to the question, right? Like you by that point in your relationship, normally you know what's coming and all that.
I hope you've talked about it many times before.
Maybe you love the person and you're thinking, yeah, this is a lifetime decision we're coming up on. So my question to you is, how important is the location? Right, so there are some people who they hire a photographer to be secret, and they're there, and they're like, I gotta catch the moment, and it's got to be this big event, right? And that's very extra, right? And our proposal was pretty basic.
I mean, okay, location. I'm not on the top of a mountain with a drone getting aerial footage.
Oh, a drone! That's awesome.
That's a bit much.
I think it's so cool.
Oh,
but
it's super cool. It's super cool, but that's just not me. But I also am thinking maybe not in a Taco Bell.
Oh my gosh, have you heard this story?
Wait, really? Is it Taco Bell?
It's not Taco Bell.
Oh my gosh, okay, because I was just thinking I wouldn't want to be in a fast food restaurant coming out of the bathroom and there you're standing at the door.
I'm so excited to read you this headline now.
This is gonna be...
Man proposes at a McDonald's.
Oh man, come on.
And gets rejected.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
So there's video. It's painful. I'll show it to you.
He was joking, right?
No, he
Did he put the ring in the burger or something? Because I would...
It's worse. Okay, so they're in line, and she goes up to the counter, and when she gets to the counter, he goes on one knee behind her. And she turns around from ordering her McDonald's.
Now, did she say no because she didn't want to marry him, or did she say no because it was in McDonald's?
I don't know. So, it's in the video, she turns around and she looks at him, and she gets her face is mad. She's big mad that she's now in this scenario, right? And it's crowded. There's they're in a mall shopping food court type thing scenario for this, and she just turns around and then she turns away from him. She's she's leaning on the counter, and she turns and looks at this guy on his knees with the ring, and she just turns away. And then she turns around a couple of times, and you can't really see what she says, but she's just she's so done. And then she just takes the food and like slams it in their cart and walks away. She just like walks away from him.
Oh my gosh.
Let me read it. While waiting for their order at a South African McDonald's, a man dropped to one knee and proposed to his love. To say she was nonplussed with his choice of romantic location would be an exaggeration. Video shows her shaking her head and berating the man before walking off without her food. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's multiple videos. People started filming. Like, once he dropped down to the knee, a bunch of people pulled out their cell phones. So there's a couple different angles on this video.
That's so awkward.
The very, very sad man grabs the order and then leaves as the crowd laughs and jeers at his failure to woo his girl with a Big Mac.
That's mean.
I
mean,
feel
give him a little
so
bit of grace
bad.
and mercy. Like,
Man.
that's embarrassing enough, but to deal with, that's awful.
It's like...
So McDonald's, really?
That's the moment he was overcome with his love, and he just needed.
Did he plan this out, or was this like impromptu? Was he like telling all his friends, "Hey guys, she's gonna go up to the counter and turn around, and there I'll be.
I'm gonna surprise her,
flying out of the M, and there I am proposing." I don't even know. What is going on there?
It's
McDonald's,
just
really?
McDonald's. So let's flip it a little bit. We were when we got engaged, right? Going back to that wonderful night, and that was a lot of fun. I thought our proposal was good. We have a good story for that. But my question is, like, we knew we wanted to get married, and
right, we talked about it.
If you love someone and you're wanting to get married to them, is there somewhere that I could have asked the question where you would have said no? Like, if I had asked, like, so our story, let's back up. So we went to our favorite sushi place in downtown Grand Rapids, and that's the city where we met. We were living in different cities at that time. I was down in Chicago. I came up for the weekend. It was Art Prize in Grand Rapids. It was really fun. And I was gonna propose to you in our favorite sushi restaurant. It was one of our first places we ever went on a date. And I was gonna propose there, but it just didn't feel right. By the way, it's just awkward walking around with a box and a ring in your pocket, right? And I just had no idea. We got all dressed up, we went out to eat, and I had no idea how to propose. It is so awkward because there's no point where it's normal to get up from eating and get down on your knees unless you like dropped your phone or something. Like,
oops, drop my sushi. Hold on.
Oh, there. Now I'm on my knees. Like, it just, I could not figure out.
5-second rule. Okay.
Here's my ring.
How romantic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It was so weird because I had no idea how to propose. It just does not come up organically. So I didn't. And then it was like, well, shoot, the night's over. Oh, and by the way, I had thrown a surprise engagement party after, it was for after we got engaged. So we were going to, so I couldn't like pull a mulligan. I had to ask, right? Because people are waiting. Yeah, there's a surprise party waiting for us, right, at your house. So like, I had to ask, and I was like, oh, it's Art Prize in Grand Rapids. Let's go for a walk. That's right. And we went for a walk down by the pier in Grand Rapids. And do you remember how it went?
The proposal?
Yeah, you remember that? What did I say?
I do. I remember.
Tell the story.
Oh, good. Okay, so I have to tell the story. So, it was real busy. We were down by the little river walk there in Grand Rapids, and you stopped and looked at me. We were looking at the art and the water, and you were like, "Oh, stop!
Wait
just
for the
a
cheesy
second."
line.
You were, look around. Do you recognize this spot? And I was really confused because I don't think we'd ever been there before. I think that I had walked that river walk many times by myself, but I'd never walked with you. And you looked at me and were like, "Yeah, this place is really familiar." And I said, "Why?" You said, "Because this is a spot where I'm going to propose to you."
Boom.
And then you got on one knee, and I think there was like an old couple there that was like,
and fireworks that exploded, and a flock of seagulls or doves flew by at that exact moment, and
sure was ducks.
The stars aligned, and no.
Yeah. It was very cute and very romantic, and
it was fun.
It was fun. But I feel so going back to this whole does the location matter? I think that if you know the person well enough and you've discussed this, that you know how the person feels about where they would be proposed to.
Oh, that's true.
And you know how to sense the mood and sense the situation.
That's true.
You felt that the moment was not right at the restaurant.
Yep.
But you knew you were going to propose. And even though I didn't know you were going to propose and I had no idea what was going to happen, you knew me well enough to know that it wasn't appropriate to propose to me as I was coming back from the bathroom or something, at a restaurant.
Surprise, I'm on my knees.
Right. You knew there was a situation that would be appropriate and maybe less tactful, you did. I feel that this guy did not know his significant other at all, or maybe they did, and they had not had a very important conversation that should have been had before they walked up to that McDonald's, But that's just my 2 cents. I
was just floored. I feel bad for him in the end. When people are booing him, I'm like, that's
insensitive.
It's too much.
People are mean.
I do think it was a very bad call to try and propose in the middle of a very busy, McDonald's.
And if you're not sure what the outcome's going to be, maybe do it in a more private location.
Yeah, and that's what I did, right? We went out. Well, I did know the outcome. I figured you'd probably say yes.
Figured it out.
I was hoping. But here's so I just want to ask the sort of generic question. When you're proposing at dinner, there's no smooth way to get up from the table and get down on one knee.
But why do you have to get down on one knee? That's my question.
I don't know. It's because movies taught me that's how you have to do things.
Why are we getting a reality from the most unrealistic thing in the world?
Wait, are you saying movies should not teach me everything?
I would say don't get any of your truths from media. That's dangerous.
Probably good advice right there. All right, that's enough of that guy. I felt so bad for him. But also, you should not propose to your significant other at... All right, so this story is way better. Okay. In England... Okay. So this story is coming from the BBC. So celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay.
Hey.
We like him because
I don't know that I like him, but I do like MasterChef Junior.
Well, and let's talk about that though, because he's got this kind of
abrasive personality.
Yeah, right. He's got this reputation as I'm the mean guy who yells at you. But then we've been watching that MasterChef Junior, and he's kind of nice sometimes. He definitely still yells at the kids, but
I mean, let's say celebrity chef. It's scripted. They're acting.
What? No. These are reality. It's real TV. It's reality.
Don't draw your reality from the media.
You're blowing my mind. I can't even handle this. All right. So anyways, Gordon Ramsay was on a radio program, Radio 2 breakfast show, and he was promoting his new show, which is called Future Food Stars, which I've never heard of. So anyways, a kitchen manager, a lady who works in a public school, called in to the chef show to talk to Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
And she mentioned, she's like, our school is very short-staffed. We don't have enough cooks to provide for all the chefs. And she made a joke about, hey, Gordon Ramsay, if you want... why don't you come on over? It says she's told the show, I'm cooking here on my own. I work in a school kitchen and my chef has gone off sick and I have another one off with COVID. I just wondered if Gordon would help me today and give me a hand. Right? Now that's just kind of a big swing. Wow. It's like when a high school kid asks out a celebrity to prom or something, Mm-hmm. But sometimes they say yes.
That's true.
Right? And so the TV chef immediately responded with, if I did have the time, I promise you in a heartbeat. However, I could send you a chef if you wish.
Wait, oh my
if you wish. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay sent one of his chefs, right? One of his professional people. He sent him to the school. It says, this is a BBC article. Miss Clark said she was not really expecting him to send a chef. She feared she was going to get in trouble at the school. So she calls into this radio program just for fun. And then he's like, oh, no, I'll send a guy. And she's like, oh, no, she's going to send a guy. I have to go tell the school that I was complaining on a radio show. And and so it says, when I got the message saying your chef would be with us in an hour, I thought, oh, no, I'm going to have to fess up to the head. And I hope she doesn't give me detention or lines, she said. And so everybody said, what have you done? And so the guy, his name sounds like, showed up and he was willing to help.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was so cute. So hang on, let me say it right. This school is in a place called Biggleswade, which just makes this story just perfect. Biggleswade. Gordon Ramsay sends chef to help Biggleswade School Canteen. And yeah, they went to Edward Peak Middle School on the orders of his boss. It was Chef Rob Roy Cameron. Chef Rob Roy Cameron sent by Gordon Ramsay to go help out this middle school.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
She says the head teacher, Miss Linnington, allowed Mr. Cameron into the kitchen, which sent a huge buzz around the school. It was brilliant. He was put to work straight away making cauliflower cheese. And it just, like, the kids were so excited, it says, and his food tasted amazing. And we've never had so many visitors to the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
That's
so cute.
Isn't that just the best feel-good story? Like,
that's awesome.
I think that the Gordon Ramsey tough guy persona, and okay, to be fair, I've not seen the show where I've only seen the MasterChef Junior where he's with the kids.
We don't have the full.
I've never seen him behave with the adults, which I've heard he can be kind of like yelling, because isn't one of his shows called like Hell's Kitchen or like he has lots of shows. I feel like the promo symbol for his shows always involves a knife, like chopping or stabbing or something, and it's like scary. Gordon Ramsay's gonna yell at you and be mean because he's super talented and famous and stuff. And it's like, I think that whole thing's kind of a character that he puts on, because I think. And well, maybe this is just a well-timed publicity stunt, but it worked, right? Because I think he's just a big softie, and it's super awesome.
Maybe. That's cute, though. I like that. That's very fun.
All right. You ready to go to the sponsor of life?
Yeah.
Sponsor your life. What is Oh, wait. Let me preface. Now that our podcast has 4 episodes, we're so big and famous. We have so many sponsorship deals coming in. I mean, tens of people have watched or listened to our podcast. Tens of people.
Yeah, it's a big number.
No,
4-year-old can't even count that high. That's not true. He can't count.
Yeah, he's crushing it. So we're like, we have no sponsors. We're this tiny little fun podcast that has no point. It's the place where you come to get away from the things that have a point. And so we have no sponsorship, but we have lots of products and things in our lives that are just so wonderful that we would want to promote them for free. And we would promote them if they paid us, but they won't. So what's sponsoring your life today?
This week, Old Navy. Old Navy's been my jam.
Had
to go out and get a whole bunch of new summertime clothes because,
it's that time.
Having a 4th baby.
Well, and it's hot out.
And it's hot. So, it was hot last weekend.
Oh.
So I had to go out and get some new clothes, and Old Navy just, they delivered. You can't beat $15 shorts, honestly, in this day and age. I'm kind of cheap. Dutch, I guess.
I feel like
my inner Dutch
the requirement
Dutch is
to
coming out, but
pay for things
so I
cheaply.
didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on shorts because I have a hard time with that, especially with
You can't buy clothes for yourself at all.
That's true. I do have a hard time buying clothes, but
you spend money on the boys or me, but you never buy for yourself.
Yeah, so I finally got some clothes for myself, and Old Navy that was where I was at this week. So
boom.
Thank you, Old Navy.
All right, I got to give a shout out. My sponsor of my life this week is My Yeti. If you're not familiar, Yeti is this brand of coffee. What are those things called? Like the travel mug?
Tumbler. Yeah, like
tumbler.
A travel mug.
Yeah, like a travel mug. And Yeti, it's insane. This product is ridiculous. In fact, it's a little too good, right? Like you pour some hot coffee into your Yeti at 7 or 8 a.m., you won't be able to drink it till like 11 o'clock. I mean, it lasts for hours. It keeps it hot so long. It's amazing. It lasts me all morning. I love my Yeti. It's a little pricey. I'll put it out there. This you got to put it on the Christmas list and hope that Santa helps you out because it's more than I would personally feel comfortable spending on a coffee appendage. That's not the right word. What am I?
Accessory?
Accessory. There you go.
You have a coffee appendage?
I need a coffee appendage. I need to attach it to my body.
Oh boy, okay, that's dangerous.
No, I love my Yeti, and it was just serving me really well the other day. I was like, boy, I've had this hot coffee all day, and it's still hot. I'm saying it. I'm not exaggerating when I say 4 or 5 hours keeps it just as hot. It's crazy effective. I love my Yeti, and I would absolutely give them a shout out and advertise for them even for free. So sponsor of my life is my Yeti. All right, now I'm very excited to close this out. We got one more bit, and I this is a new bit that I came up with this past week. It's called Midwest Moments. And what this is we are very Michigan people, right? We're born and raised. We've lived all over Michigan, but we are very much into that Midwest culture. And there's certain features of living in the Midwest, which you might call stereotypical. What are some of the things that make you a Midwest person?
Things that make me a Midwest person. Oh, anytime someone asks me how much something, where I got something, I have to tell them where I got it and then how much it costs and what discount it was at.
This is the rule. You can't just pay full price for nonsense. Like, this is a Michigan cultural value, Midwest cultural value. And one of the things I've noticed is that I think I mix up the Christian life with the Midwest life. Right? Like, I have values and I grew up thinking this is what Christians do.
Oh,
but what I'm realizing is like, actually some of this is just like what all people in the Midwest do.
That's true.
Some of the stereotypical ones are saying too much or apologizing too much.
Well, let me just sneak right past you here.
Let me just sneak right past you there. That's more like Wisconsin, right? But it's
sneak right over here. I don't know.
And so I had the biggest Midwest moment ever this past week, and it got even better as the day went on. Okay, so I gotta tell you the story. So one of the Midwest moments, or the Midwest cultural values, is we are not allowed to accept help ever. Right? Like, this is like a rule in our culture. We offer help at the drop of a hat. Like, all the time we will be willing to help people, but we are very uncomfortable as a people asking for or accepting help. We would rather, no, I'll carry all 10 bags than let someone else carry one bag. Like, oh no, I got it, no problem.
Stubborn self, I am 100%.
Like, and both you and I are deep in on this one. Like, neither of us are good at asking for help.
Or even just accepting help.
Yeah, somebody's like, I'm here to help you, and it's like, that's okay, I got it.
What?
You're fine. No. So the other day we had to put our car in for some car repairs, right? The air conditioner needed to be recharged, and it was like, all right, let's go put the car in. Now, we're a single car family, right? So I drove it over in the morning, and I jogged back to our house. It's really close to our house. It's like a quarter of a mile. Yeah, maybe a half mile. It's not very far. So it took me no time at all. And then I worked from home that morning, and then when they were ready, I walked over to go get the car. I'm on my way to the car place, and someone I know, a wonderful person from the church, pulls up next to me. I didn't tell you about this. I was saving it.
No, you didn't. You saved this story? Wow, you told me everything. I'm so curious now.
Okay, they pull up to me, they roll down the window, and they were like, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? Because they know where we live, and I was like, oh, I'm just walking to the car place, and they offer me a ride. Would have taken 30 seconds of their day. It was no big deal, and they offered. But what did I do?
You said no.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm doing fine. I'm listening to my podcast. It's no trouble. I'll just keep walking in the 80-degree heat. I'm doing just fine.
You fool.
I turned it down because there's this Midwest moment. I can't accept help. It's like
you feel like you're inconveniencing someone.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. It is so funny. And it's so common. Like, it is just a struggle for all of us who live in the Midwest. We are not good at accepting help. I've preached on this, right? About how, when you accept help from someone, you are giving them the chance to serve you Jesus told us to. And yet still I struggle to accept help.
I know. For me, I let my pride get in the way for some reason, to a fault.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like an
it's a
inconvenient
problem.
Degree. I'm
it's like something.
I totally got this. And people are like, you're like dying.
You should accept some help. You really need.
Yeah.
And so, but wait, the story gets even better.
Okay, I'm still waiting.
So I sent her on her way, right? It was like, oh no, I'm doing fine. And I was having a lovely walk, and I was listening to my podcast. I was listening to the Holy Post. I was having a good time.
Okay, as long as you weren't listening to us. That's
yep, I was listening to our podcast.
That's much more acceptable. Okay.
No, I was listening to the Holy Post, and I was on my way, and so it really wasn't that big a deal. But then she called me later that day to apologize for inconvenience me by pulling over.
What?
This is her Midwest moment, right? She calls me up. She's like, I am so sorry I bothered you while you were on your walk.
Bothered?
And I was like,
I'm so sorry for being kind.
Oh my gosh, she was so kind, so wonderful. And I was just like, I laughed so hard. I was like, "Oh my goodness, you don't have anything to apologize for." I should have taken the ride, but the fact that I turned it down,
that is just
her Midwest vibe came in, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I inconvenienced this person," and I just, I laugh so hard about that. I think this will be a recurring segment. We're gonna have lots of Midwest moments in life. And listeners, if you guys have any Midwest moments, share them with us, like on the social media pages and stuff.
I would love to hear.
We want to hear your ridiculous Midwest moments where you refused to accept help, or you offered help and then apologized for it. I couldn't believe she called me. She was like, "I'm just so sorry if I bothered you," and it was like, you weren't bothering me, you were helping me, and I should have accepted that help, because we are just ridiculous in that way. Oh man. Wow. All right, so Midwest moments. All right, hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us. If you appreciate our little goofy podcast, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, leave us a review. That's a big thing. If you're on Spotify, hit the 5 stars, or Apple Podcasts, leave a review. That affects the algorithm and gives us a chance so more people can discover this goofy Christian content.
All right, and thanks so much to Music Time for the use of our theme song. Don't forget to check us out on social media. I think there's a Facebook page, Instagram, and maybe even a Twitter account. I won't be frequenting those that much, but you can.
But I do.
They might be enjoyable.
Yeah, I put a ton of stuff out there on that. I try to share the links to all the stories we talk about so people can check them out. I will share the video of this guy getting rejected at McDonald's, and I'll throw up the Gordon Ramsay story and all that stuff. But then use those comments to tell us your proposal stories, tell us your goofy failures and things like that. We love to hear all that kind of stuff. And this is a judgment-free zone. We're not making fun of people. We're laughing with them because we're laughing at ourselves, right? I hope that's like understood. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. We're just here to have a good time and share our Midwest moments. And I'm
it's very short, I promise. So, yeah. So 2 guys walk into a bar.
Uh-huh.
The third one ducks.
Classic. I've heard that one. I like that.
Of course you have. Everyone has. All right.
Beautiful. Bye.
Take care. Bye,
you guys
everyone.
Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.